Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the sales meeting. We got a good one on tap today. We're going to start off with our mortgage moment here in a minute, but we've got an agent panel coming up. And on this agent panel, we've got Tod Barton. And we've got three agents sharing what they've learned through COVID and what they're going to keep in their business. Starting with Jeff Davenport. We also have Branden Cinqugrani and Brandie Thompson on there. So let's take a minute and see who's on with us. It looks like we've got Jennifer Wild. Welcome to the broadcast. We got Patricia. Patricia's joining us. Hey, Corey, how are you? Beverly. Oh, Branden is even in the house. So let's get started here with Shelly and our mortgage moment.
Hey everyone, Shelly Panzarella, and I am live and on location, ready to go to a signing, but I wanted to jump online and say happy Tuesday. Also to give you an update on our interest rates today. So coming into this week, we are still holding strong at the low threes. I've got rates for conventional financing with 20% down at 3%, and then our FHA at 2.875. So if you have any questions at all about interest rates, please make sure to reach out to one of your Prosperity Lending loan officers. I also want to let you know that I will be teaching a class tomorrow at 12 o'clock about VA financing. So whether you're new to VA loans, whether you want a refresher on VA loans, please join my Zoom call tomorrow at 12 o'clock. The information will be in your Agents of Signature page, and then lunch will also be provided. I'm just kidding, no lunch, but definitely me and all you can think about for VA financing. Anyways, hope you have an amazing week, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Back to you, Branden.
Thanks, Shelly. Shelly from on location out there in her Tesla. So we appreciate the information and look forward to your class on VA financing coming up. So with that being said, let's see, we've got quite a few people tuning in. This is pretty neat. So I want to first apologize a little bit. We're trying out some new technology to try to make our meetings and our trainings a little bit more entertaining and not so much Zoom-like. So we're going to have this agent panel, but this is the first time going through it with some scene changes and stuff like that. We've got some frames and different things. So be patient with me as we're learning this, and we'll get better and better with this. So we're going to go ahead and get this started. So we're going to kick it over to Tod in the panel.
To the Tuesday morning meeting. We're excited to have for you today an agent panel. We're going to talk about things that may have affected some of your businesses. We're going to talk about some things that I think you can implement into your business moving forward. And I think it'll be fun to kind of learn what other agents in the brokerage may have experienced and some of the changes they've made. So you can see we're going to, on the panel today, we have three guests from the office. We'll start with Jeff Davenport. Jeff, tell us a little bit about your real estate career. How long you've been in real estate? How's it go? Just give us some background.
Sure. Good morning. And I have been in real estate for 21 years. I got to be honest with you, I'm going to blame it on my parents. Dad is 35 years and mom was about 28 years. I've been licensed in Nevada for about 12 of those years, and then San Diego prior to that. Yeah, it was funny. I can tell you growing up that I remember helping my parents stuff envelopes that, they were mailing to back then. So, and I've been with Branden, even before a signature. So it was back in the exit days. So that's exciting. I'll be honest with you. I did try to get out a couple times, but just couldn't do it, man. Honestly, I love the business. While I'm pulling my hair out, I still love the business. So
cool, great. So 21 years in San Diego for part of that, in Vegas, and then you've been with Brand Signature for quite a long time. So hey, I appreciate you taking the time to be on the panel today. Next, let's move over to Brandie. Brandie Thompson. Brandie, tell us a little bit about how long you've been in the business, how long you've been with Signature, and all that good stuff about yourself.
Good morning. I have been in real estate for about a little over 2.5 years now. I just started with Signature in February, moved over from my old brokerage. So I came to Signature right before all this crazy stuff started happening. I have to be honest, though, I love it. It's one of the best moves I've ever made. My real estate career began with being home with my kids and working, kind of being more of a stay-at-home mom, working a little bit on remote work, but I needed to get out and do something for me, something that I enjoyed. And so I got my real estate license and I've been doing it since, and we love it.
Cool. So thanks again for being on the panel. So as you all can see, Brandie's in beautiful Idaho. She never said what part of Idaho, but she's actually out of town. So I appreciate you taking some time out of your vacation to be on this panel today. And I know that the agents of Signature are going to get some good information from you. Last but not least, Branden Cinqugrani. I think I said that right. Did I say that right? I mean, it's only been like a month or so since I started saying that name, and I think I finally got it right. Cool.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Cinqugrani is the easy way to say it. Good morning, everybody. So I've been in the business for a little over 7 years. My background before getting into this, I actually attended bar and I did small business marketing. Started having a lot of success in small business marketing and started doing it for myself. Got pretty successful in real estate and was really interested in building a team. Find a passion now in making others successful as well. So that's what I do now, and that's about it.
All right. So on the note of having a desire to make others or help others be, we announce the big announcement. Is that okay? Do you know what the big announcement is?
What is the announcement?
So Branden has agreed to take a little bit more of a leadership role with Signature, specifically here in the Green Valley office, and we'll work obviously in other offices when necessary. So Branden's going to come on as a sales manager here in the Green Valley office, which we're super excited about. It's got a lot of experience running teams. He's very successful in the business, and so we're excited to add you into that position. So congratulations on that.
Excited to be a part of it.
All right, good. So hey, I'm going to go back to Brandie real quick. Brandie, tell us a little bit about your business currently. So not before COVID, not in 6 months, but like, what's it like today? What's your business look like? What kind of business model do you run? What does that look like for you today?
For me, obviously we've been home a lot, so I've spent the last couple months really working on putting a business model together where I maybe just kind of went through the motions and did whatever I felt like I needed to do at the moment before. I'm actually putting systems in place now, and my follow-up, I have a plan for follow-up. I have a plan for how I'm handling leads. I honestly, it's been working really well for me. The more I get organized and the more I work on getting things set up, my business is starting to really grow, and I've got business just kind of coming in on me.
So that's really a pretty good position to be in, right?
It is, yeah.
So is that different than it was, say, pre-COVID? And you don't need to explain pre-COVID, but is it different than it was before this pandemic?
It is. Some of that is also switching brokerages too. It's not, I can't say it's just putting the systems in place. I was with a completely different company. I don't know how to say it, but the style of the company and how we ran things was a lot different than the way Signature runs things. So for me, switching over and getting the time to spend with all of the people in Signature and learning from everybody has made a world of difference in my business.
All right, good. So let's go to Jeff now. Jeff, what does your current business look like? What kind of business model do you run? What does your day-to-day activity look like?
Well, I will say that it's honestly pretty much business as usual. It's I know we're not talking what was happening during COVID and that sort of stuff up to this point. I would say, except for the virtual tours, I'm pretty much almost doing pretty much what I was doing before. And on that note of a virtual tour, I think it's kind of cool because now if someone's late to do a virtual tour, it's not me. It's not me waiting on a client. No offense to them, of course, but I'm sure everybody can relate to that. But yeah, I spent a lot of time, and I never understood this before, working on my business as opposed to working in my business. So now I'm actually working on it again, and it's amazing on how quick. That's kind of like adjusting a faucet, you know what I mean? Just a little bit of tweak, and once again, for me, things are pretty much back to where they were.
Okay.
But honestly, in short, it's like business as usual. I know it doesn't really explain a model or anything like that, but it's.
Well, so for the model specifically that you're running, you're an agent who is doing production. So you're working with buyers, you're working with sellers. You also have a small team now.
Yes.
Yeah. An agent or two that are working with you. You've got a full-time admin person or two even. So your model is kind of a team model, and you're actively working buyers and sellers inside that model.
And that is correct. And actually, on that note of using that model as an example, I actually, it's been about 3 weeks now, I actually hired a VA to help with the calls. So right now, my model is I'm kind of working on what I have in my database as opposed to, I'm still generating don't get me wrong, new leads, but I'm more focused right now on massaging what I actually have in my CRM.
Okay, good. So over to Branden. Branden, tell us what model you run, kind of a little bit about what your business today looks like.
So my model before this hit and continued to be was prospecting. Prospecting is our lifeline in this business. So I really put an emphasis to keep agents focused on my team during, the quarantine. It actually gave me, I took it as an opportunity to focus more on my business and then making, tweaks like Jeff said to the business and our business model. But prospecting is our lifeline. So I really had to make sure it was really easy for people during quarantine to, veer off and, not pay attention to your business, let your business get away from you. So my business model changed to where it's a lot more accountability. It's not. I used to do like about a weekly check-in. During quarantine, we actually sped that up. We were doing check-in about 3 times a week with everybody on the team. And then now I think it's actually made us a little bit more tight-knit, and it's been an emphasis on holding everybody accountable and making sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Cool. So yeah, I think I experienced a little bit of the same. We had some extra time to work on the business, and we were able to kind of get closer together, more knit. I had the kind of the same experience. All right, so business is good for everybody. I think we can all agree that everyone that's on the panel, business has been plugging along just fine. Like Jeff said, not much has changed for him. I know Brandie has done some things to change her business for the positive, and she's got leads and appointments and things that as real estate agents we always look for. So let me ask this, Branden, we'll start with you again. Like when COVID hit, what were your first thoughts? What were your first thoughts about how this was going to affect your business? How was it going to affect your life personally? I mean, what were your very first thoughts? And the reason I want to ask this question is I want all the other agents in Signature to realize that for people who have still ongoing business that's successful, I want them to understand that we all kind of had some thoughts that may or may not be what they had. That makes sense.
Yeah. I'll say one of the first things I did is, I think a lot of agents probably have the same mindset, is we always want to have our crystal ball and predict the future markets. So that's what I really, I tried taking in a lot of facts about even things that I'm not into, medically and everything else, that I could try to identify what our future market held. Family wise, of course, I wanted to keep everybody safe. We started, my wife actually works in the hospital. So that was a major concern for us. It was scary, especially in the beginning when there was a lot more unknown than there is now. And then same thing with the team. I wanted to be able to maintain, like, we have a really tight relationship, relationships on my team. So maintaining those, well, being distance from each other was difficult and a new obstacle, but that's probably my first thoughts going into quarantine and COVID. But it also presented an opportunity to, life's always about change. You got to be able to change with life. So
there you go. Good. So, hey, Jeff, tell me what your thoughts were. I know you work close with your wife here at the office, and you got a young child. But what were your thoughts personally for your family? And then how did that equate to how your business was ran?
Well, I will say that, I had mentioned 21 years in the business, and, so we saw the REO crash. And, I remember when COVID, and they're all talking about this, and, the toilet paper thing and the water thing. Well, I went to Costco one day. There was no water. There was no toilet paper. Took a picture, and I was, sent it to Shannon, my wife, and it's like, wow, you know what? This is actually real. It's like the reality of it didn't really sink in, just being honest. And then Noah, my little boy, he had to be homeschooled. So that was like, the school was all shut down. And so that was actually a new dynamic. So it's like, okay, we still got to work, and you still got to have 5 hours of schooling. And so that was, it was kind of trying to juggle it all. But I think back with the REO, it's like no one really predicted that it would have the outcome that it did. I will say that I am thankful that I had quite a few escrows. So when everything did shut down, I at least worked on my pipeline to work it through. And as I said, worked on the business. And then kind of figure out, okay, what can we do? Well, if we can't meet face to face, we can at least do phone calls and Zoom. So I had to learn all that because I really didn't have that experience before. I'll be honest, it was eye-opening. It really was.
Okay, Brandie, tell us about your first initial thoughts about how it would affect your business, and then maybe tell us how it did affect your business. I know you had a pretty big change due to COVID.
Yeah, I've had a lot of changes with this. I didn't take it seriously at first. I was one of the people that figured it would just blow over and we'd be done with it after, we quit listening about it on the news. Once the reality hit, I actually had a similar experience where I went to Costco and they had no water, and I'm like, what is here? But once I realized that this is serious, this is really going to affect our lives and our business, I kind of shut down for a little bit, honestly. Definitely a couple weeks. I had a really hard time focusing and getting past it. I went through a little bit of anxiety because I was worried about what would happen. And then once I realized, okay, this is going to change our lives. This change is here forever. We're not going to go back to the way it was. Something's going to have to give. My husband also got furloughed, so that kind of put the pressure on me because I used real estate as just supplemental income, not being the primary breadwinner. So it made me realize that I had to do something different, because if we're ever in a situation like this again, I certainly don't want us to feel like we can't make it through. So I started making changes and truly committed to work my business, and it's gone really well since then.
Cool. So I think we can all agree that everybody reacted a little bit differently. I'm still in denial. I mean, it's nearly over, and I'm still in denial. So I think everybody reacts differently, and I want the agents to understand that however you reacted, however it affected your family or affected your future business, it's okay. What I hope we get today is that we can change whatever direction we were going fairly quickly, and that will cause your business to start running again. So, Brandie, tell me again, and I know we've had a little conversation about this, but specifically, what changes have you made as part of your business plan or in your business that can cause you to say it's going really good now? Like, what specific changes did you make?
I would say the initial commitment was big, just committing to doing the job and working on it and making sure that I have future business. I've also joined the Signature Coaching Program, which has been huge for me. I've gotten a ton of great advice, and I work with great people that I talk to on a regular basis. I've also been joining the script practice when I'm able to, which has been completely life-changing for me and my business, because I was terrified of the phone prior to this, and joining script practice, like, for the first time in my life, I could say I actually look forward to those calls because we have fun. And not only do we have fun, but I'm seeing improvement. Other people are seeing improvement. We all help each other out, and it's really an amazing thing. One of the other big things that I've done is set up my personal morning routines. I have a pretty strict routine I stick to, and some of that comes from the coaching and us talking about, you know, how to start your day. But as long as I stick to those routines, I set myself up for success for that day. And I can tell a difference when I don't. When I don't commit to my morning routines, I kind of just drag through the day and don't get anything done. But when I really commit to that, it makes all the difference.
So some really big changes. I mean, you joined the coaching program. You got super uncomfortable and got on script practice. And I'll say, because I'm on there 2 days a week, I'll say that you actually practice on script practice. You practice different scripts at different times, and you've shared some experiences with me where it's definitely improved your business. So that's exciting. Those are changes that you can make even in a time when there's a lot of uncertainty. Brandon, tell us if there's any specific changes that you've made for your team specifically, or even in your own personal business plan at the current time.
I'd say for my team is I've really worked on making sure that everybody stays focused. Like it was mentioned before, these times sometimes it can be very daunting. Hearing clients being furloughed from jobs and you losing escrows, and it's really easily to go down a negative slope. Everybody kind of knows in real estate you can kind of do this bouncing wave, and really just trying to keep everybody's focus has been something I've really implemented in my business. The other things changes, during COVID, I started making everybody farm essential employees. So that's something that we did make a little change to. Make sure that we kept business going. We also, I really put an emphasis on everybody reaching out to the sphere of influence. Especially during these times, you can really firm those relationships with your clients and let them know what's going on in the market, the unknown and what you do know, and then just sharing those ideas. I think just helped further those relationships during COVID. Those are the little tweaks and changes that we've probably made a little bit more emphasis on sphere of influence, and then just keeping better systems and keeping tabs on everybody, holding them accountable.
Cool. So for me, what I heard was a lot of it was getting back to the basics. Like, let's get back to the basic part of real estate that we should be doing on a day-to-day. Let's focus on that, and that'll keep us successful moving forward. Cool. So, hey, Jeff, specifically, what changes have you made in your business or on your business recently?
Well, one thing I like to say real quick about what Brandie was saying about getting on those calls is the other end always can tell whatever mood I'm in. So what I've learned, and picking up on what Brandon said, was just being the practice and light and smiling, even, you know what I mean? Then the other side can pick that up. And then it's like, hey, this phone really isn't all that heavy now like it used to be, because you know what? I actually look forward to making these calls. So I just want to share that. I would say probably the two biggest things that I have done is I always have a morning routine where I spend the time in the Word and do my devotions and that sort of stuff with Shannon, my wife, and then with Noah when he's around, so I can kind of set the role model there of consistency. So the one thing I have added is that actually exercising. So and get out and walk around our neighborhood. We actually have a lot of open paths and fields and that sort of stuff behind us. So we see bunnies and quails and that sort of stuff. So I'm out there getting some vitamin D. I've released 8 pounds, and it's just good exercise for me and the family. So something that we do together. So that is like the morning routine for personal. Now, as far as what I do for business, I actually have also joined the Signature Coaching. And someone may say, wow, Jeff, you've been in it 21 years. Do you think you need a coach? Yeah, I'll tell you, there's probably not a day where I do not come across something I've never come across before. In fact, I've reached out to Brandon and Tod yourself, just even within the last 10 days, asking about, hey, what's your suggestion on this? So I would say that's the biggest thing. Being self-employed, I would say, speaking for myself, it could be very easy for me to go sideways or maybe become a little bit lax or this or that. And then whenever I see Tod, he'd go, hey, where you been, dude? Well, I was out showing property. Okay, just checking. So I like having someone just, hold me to it, accountable.
Well, so that's actually the second time we've heard that word, accountability. It's a hard word it's a hard thing sometimes to let somebody hold you accountable, but I think it's a huge part of the business. And I think any agent that would take the step in their life or in their business to let somebody hold them accountable, you can only see improvement from that. I literally don't know a single person that has got into some type of accountability relationship and their business went the wrong direction. Every person I've ever seen do it, it just moves their business very quickly in the right direction. So it's interesting that two of you have actually, and Brandie also pointed out that she's in the coaching program, and that's accountability. And so I appreciate that. Accountability is definitely a big part of the business. Any changes moving forward for 2020, like between today and the end of the year? Is there any business activity that you weren't doing before that you're going to implement as part of your business? And the answer could just be no, but is there anything that you're specifically changing moving forward to try to ramp up the rest of the year? Brandie, sorry, I didn't address somebody. My bad.
For me, I would say just continuing through the coaching program because it's been extremely helpful. Continuing to find ways to lead gen would be a big one for me because I've typically stuck with SOI for my lead gen, but eventually that does dry up. Not everybody's always got somebody buying or selling, and where I want to grow my business now, not just be comfortable with what I get, I have to step out and actually find ways to create more business. So for me, it's going to be finding leads to come in and making calls on those leads and continuing to improve on my phone skills so that when I make those calls, I can set the appointments.
Okay. How about you, Jeff?
The answer would be yes.
Okay.
So if you want detail on that, then one thing, Tod, that you suggested that I'm reading Rocket Fuel, so I'm kind of learning on how to. I'm a visionary, So I may have like 20 different ideas and just not know how to implement. So now I am learning how to have you've already mentioned I do have a team around me, but now how each of my team members plays a intricate part in this journey. And I still remember when I was walking out of the award ceremony, and Todd, you and your wife are at the bottom of the stairs as we're heading out. I said, hey, check this out. I didn't really know you because you're in the southwest side. But anyways, I said, hey, you know what? My goal is to add 2 to what the award was for. He said, no, we're going to actually double it. So I actually still have that goal. How I'm going to get there or that sort of stuff, I don't know. That's kind of a detail. But the point is, yes, I have that goal. And then also I had talked about having a VA is kind of ramping that up too, because it's amazing how many calls we're getting done a day now. So
cool. So you've added the VA. That's something to help ramp your business up. Yeah, the goal, what we talked about was doubling your 2019 business in 2020.
Yes.
Standing at the bottom of the stairs, we didn't know what was coming, right? So, but I think what I heard and what I appreciate you saying is that didn't change your goal. Like
right.
you're not going to back down from what you set out to do. You're just going to make some changes that will cause that to happen by the end of this year. So I appreciate that. And Brandon, so tell me, is there anything that you're doing that's ramping up your business towards the end of the year?
I would say I'm always working on efficiency. So that's probably something that I would just say I'm trying to make things more efficient in my business. That way, it's less stress. So that's what I really try to do, is just keep things more efficient and implement better systems. That's probably the only thing I can think of, moving forward throughout the year. I do agree with Jeff. Those same goals are my same goals. Typically, we usually slow down towards winter time. This year, I think everybody is just going to have to step it up, and all those people who are looking to buy or sell their homes during our shutdown, they still need a home. They still need a place to buy. They still have homes to sell. So I really think that our last quarter sales, I really think we're all going to do very well.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that one. I think our last quarter of 2020 will look substantially different than 19, 18, 17, 16. I think sales will blossom in that quarter. So let's get ourselves ready to kind of go down that road. So do any of you do business planning? Like, do you sit down October, November, and say, okay, let's put together our business plan and set goals for the next year? Have you done that in the past, Brandon?
Yeah, I've done a business plan, typically year over year. My evaluation's usually around November. It's actually usually I'm breaking down all of our end of year numbers. But then I implement a goal for us for the following year. I would say sometimes it runs into January. I'm one of those people where I like to see everything come in first, and then see where we finish to really set that goal for the next year. But yeah, business planning definitely important. People that don't have a business plan, you really should, because you are in business for yourself, and you should. Everybody should have a business plan. Not a job.
So do you see? What do you see for your 2021 business planning? Is it going to change how you do it? Like, will you take other things into consideration now, like maybe a 3-month shutdown, or is there as you plan for that next year? Do you see changes? How you?
I do. I think one of the big changes we're going to have, and it'll probably it might come a little bit sooner than 2021, is conducting an open house. That'll be a huge one for us on how we're going to be able to keep social distancing, make people feel safe, and also make sellers happy about trying to sell their home as well. So I think that's something that we're all going to have to figure out a real good fail-proof system to make everybody feel safe, and also build off of our business. I would say that's probably, system-wise, something, we're going to have to reevaluate and figure out when the time comes.
So are you currently doing virtual open houses? And if so, do you plan on keeping those going even when we are allowed to do regular open houses?
Yeah, I would definitely keep a virtual open house, just because the simplicity of it. If you're already sitting in an open house, I really think you could still hold it virtual as well. I think it's something that we'll keep in our market. It is kind of funny, I think, with with Zoom and all the video technology. My uncle's actually an agent in San Francisco area, and he's been using this for years. And he laughs at me when I go and show homes because he's been doing it forever, and he only shows houses virtually and puts them under contract. So he thinks we're finally just catching up. I don't think we're quite there yet, but it would be nice. I would say efficiently, though, as it's definitely more efficient. So if you could show a lot more houses than today virtually than you can actually out there in the field. So it's something that actually might help us in our business along the way.
Cool. So that's a pretty interesting way to look at that. It's a way to accelerate your business. Don't let it deter you. Just let it accelerate it. So Jeff, do you see any changes in how you plan for 2021 for your business?
I'm going to be honest with you. At the moment, I don't really see any changes. I agree with what Brandon said there as far as virtual open houses or virtual tours is I'm going to put it this way, a new tool in my toolbox that I didn't really have before. I mean, I'll be honest with you, there are times I did an open house and we'd kind of do some Facebook Live and this and that. And, it was hit or miss or whatever. But now it's like, oh, okay, here's that tool that I hardly ever use, but it's sharpened and it's ready to go. So, and I agree about what was said about having a business plan. I've always had goals. I've done some that's like, well, how are you going to get there? So I think it's important to kind of figure out, okay, so to hit X amount of dollars, that means I got to do so many transactions. To get to those transactions, that means I got to make so many appointments. To get those appointments means I have to make so many phone calls and that sort of stuff. So I do think that's very important, because then it's like, oh, okay, I might be behind my goals today or for the week. But the cool thing is that, hey, I know what we need for the month. And then, that I'm still on track. So, yeah.
All right, cool. How about you, Brandie? So have you done business planning specifically in the past? And if not, will you start? And if you will, what any changes or anything that you see would be valuable for you?
Yes, I have done planning, but I always say I'm great at planning, not so great at executing. So maybe might be on that visionary side as well. So I always have a plan. Going forward, I see it being different for next year, especially because, part of my plan was doing open houses for lead generation. And as they've said, the others two said, we don't really know what it's gonna look like going forward. Are we going to be allowed to do open houses? Is that going to be a thing of the past? So I think that when it comes to planning, there has to be a little bit of wiggle room where, if open houses aren't going to be a thing we can do, then we need to switch to virtual open houses or find another way to supplement the loss of things that we can't do anymore. So I definitely see my plan being different next year.
Cool. So I think we can all agree that an open house moving forward probably includes a virtual open house at the same time. So I do think that's a big change. And I agree with Brandon that it's a great accelerator for our business. It's a convenience for us as agents. And I think, to be quite honest, I think the public will expect it. Like, if you're going to be a top agent and you're going to work at the top of this business, you're going to have to learn how to do that at a very successful rate. It's going to have to be high quality. You're going to have to come up with ways to do it that makes you stand out. But I do think it's probably part of the business. It's become a part of the business because what the public will expect. So maybe the last question, there's probably one more after this, but so Jeff, I'm going to start with you on this one. Tell me, talking to all the agents in the company, like there's 500 people watching right now, tell me, what advice would you give them? Like what is the best advice you could give to an agent to finish out 2020 successfully, and how to ramp up their 2021 and get it ready to go?
Well, I guess the first thing that comes to my mind is don't quit. It kind of reminds me of the little engine.
You must have a young child at home.
But anyways, just keep plugging on. You know what I mean? I know I can. What works for me may not work for someone else, but I'll tell you what is true is that if I don't make that phone call or send that email or send that text, then it won't get done. I wish I had some magic formula. It's like, but crystal ball is also kind of foggy also. But yeah, I would say just don't give up. And you know what? I would say here's the biggest thing. What popped into my mind is I have a client that calls me, asks me a question. It's like, you know what? That's a great question. Let me get back to you. So I believe in reaching out and asking for help. I do believe that the coaching is a very good tool. If that doesn't work, you got some great agents in the office, great brokers across the company there. Seriously, do not be afraid to raise your hand, reach out and ask a question.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Too many times we make a decision on our own when asking for someone else's opinion or help probably serve us better. So Brandon, what advice would you give to all the agents in the company about their business and how to be successful for the rest of the year?
So positivity would probably be the first thing I tell people. We're in sales, so you have to be in a positive mindset every day. I don't remember which book this was in, but it's in one of the hundreds of sales books out there. Wake up like every day is Christmas morning. You got to be excited about your job. Even if you had a bad day, something fell out of escrow, everything's fantastic. You deal with that, and then and then you have to let it go, and then you have to move on with your day, and you have to make it a positive day. And then I would probably say accountability. Back to the word accountability. Hold yourself accountable. I would tell you to hardest part is sometimes looking in the mirror and asking yourself if you've done everything that you could do. So having somebody there, like you said, holding you accountable is great. Have a coach, have a mentor, join a team, have somebody who holds you accountable and make sure that you're doing everything that you can do. You can be the best agent you can be. And then I agree with Jeff too. That I always tell everybody, the hardest thing in your day, like if it's an email, a call, it's bad news, do it first thing in the morning. That is the first thing you should do. Knock it out, and everything else in your day will be cake. So that's probably the best. Stay positive, accountable.
Do the hard stuff in the morning when you have a lot of energy and your positivity is better, and you're probably able to bounce back from something negative early in the morning. So I had an uncle tell me, and kind of in line with what you said there, when I was a bit younger, he said to me, sometimes the hardest thing we do is look in the mirror and tell ourselves that we're part of the problem. And so I hear you guys talking about accountability, and sometimes the hardest part of accountability is realizing that we need it and that we're part of the problem and we need to be held accountable to what our goals are and what we really want to do. So I appreciate both of you talking about accountability. Brandie, what advice would you give? Like, is there some way that you came up to this change in your business that made it be successful as it is today?
As I had said before, honestly, it was just flat out that commitment, just committing to myself, committing to my family, committing to my business. So my best advice is don't give up. Just do it. Just make that decision that you want to be successful and you want to keep going, and then just do it. And if it takes, again, the accountability, if you need that accountability, if you need somebody to help you with that, I highly recommend talking to Brandon or anyone else about the coaching program and getting involved in that, because that's been huge for me. Even when I get on my coaching calls, if I've failed at my goals for the last week, I'm harder on myself because I know that there's somebody out there also that knows I didn't meet those goals. So I'm a lot harder on myself. He doesn't even have to be hard on me because I know when I failed and I feel horrible about it, and I chastise myself. So, but the other side of that, and one of the things that I've really learned recently, is not to be too hard on yourself, because you're going to have wins, you're going to have days when you don't win. When you don't win, you're so hard on yourself that you just let it get you down, then you're not going to win the next day either. So when I have a bad day or a bad week, I let myself be upset about it for a little bit, and then I move on and I push myself and I make sure that the next day I set myself up to win. I'm not going to have that same failure. I'm not going to feel bad about myself. I'm just going to wake up the next day with a clean slate and start over.
All right, Brandon, tell me what you're most excited about in your business right now.
I would say growth. We've actually grown quite a bit, and making everybody successful with that growth. So I mean, that's the passion that drives me and my team is I actually like seeing everybody around me be successful. It does. It's like, it's a proud thing when you see someone implement everything that you taught them and you push them to be the best the best agent they could be. And then also, I'm really looking forward to coming out on the positive side of this pandemic. So I think right now is an opportunity for not just myself, but everybody. This is an opportunity time. You can't always look at, I know there's a lot of negative stuff. You guys, if you watch the news or whatever else is out there, what it really comes down to is it's an opportunity time. There's going to be a lot of people who succeed in this time. There will be some people who don't make it, but more of a reason for you to overcome it and be one of the people on top.
Cool. So we kind of share in that attitude of success around me is more positive than success myself. I'm with you there. I like to see the people around me be successful, and that's what makes me excited about coming to work every day and doing what I do. So, Jeff, tell us what you're super excited about in your business right now.
Well, I'm going to piggyback on that. I believe that success does breed success. They say, well, if you want to hang out with the eagles and don't be hanging out with the turkeys, watch that. But you know what I'm saying. I will say what I am really excited about is that, yes, what the future does hold on the other side of this, and that all the people that I was able to help during this time, I'm going to say that I was a light, meaning that I didn't get all caught up in all the drama and the negative of this. And I'm really excited to see what the future does hold. It's kind of exciting to hear with the announcement about Branden. I think Todd, you being the new addition to the Green Valley office is all exciting. It's just it's the energy there is very exciting. I'm very, very thankful to be part of it.
Good. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. So, Brandie, what are you super excited about besides getting home from Idaho?
Hey, I'm actually kind of excited to be here. It's a nice weather, but I'm excited about everything, honestly. My business is just really taking off, and I'm getting to the point that I always wanted to be. So I'm excited about that growth. I'm excited, honestly, the same as Jeff. I'm excited to see what's going to change in the future. I've typically been afraid of change, and I didn't like the thought of our business having to change and how we do business changing. But now that I'm getting more confident in my own business, I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. I think some of the changes that come out of this are going to be really great for all of us. I mean, look, we're all saving a ton of money on gas, right? Because we're not driving to the office every day. So, I mean, there's so many things to be excited about, and just me changing my own perspectives and looking at things in a positive note. I'm excited about everything in the future. I just I'm looking forward to seeing how things go.
Awesome. So I heard you say that you're excited about being a successful business owner, and that's super exciting, by the way.
Yes. Yeah, I'm very excited about it.
So let me just end this by saying that as an agent at Signature, you need to know that not only are there agents within the company that are excited to help you be successful, but the leadership team here is what it's all we're set up to do. We're literally set up to help you become successful in your business. We're not only here to handle some of the troubling times, but we're here to celebrate all the good times and all the advancements that you make in your business and all the new ideas that you come up with that become successful. We're here to celebrate that with you as well. So if you need something, if you want to become that new successful person you've been thinking about for the past year and it just hasn't happened, I'm with these guys. At least get some information about the coaching program. I don't know anybody in the coaching program right now that isn't super excited about it. It's been a big success, and I think it's gonna make people who they want to be, and that's what it's really about. So, hey, thanks for tuning in today. If you have any questions, of course, reach out. Don't forget to read the Buzz, your newsletter every week. There's tons of information in there. If people are asking you about open houses, if they're asking you about tenants, if they're asking you about when could people be evicted, all of that information is in your newsletter each week. I know I got it on Friday. You did too. So go check it out. And I don't really know mention why I need to do it. So have a great week and reach out if you need some help.
Awesome. Thank you, Todd. Hope you guys had as much fun as I did. I know it was a little bumpy, but hopefully you got some good information out of this. And this is kind of the future of the lives and the trainings that we're going to. I'm actually putting together some training for to use this software and stuff. So watch for that, as I'm going to teach you guys how to start using it, and hopefully you guys can do a better job than me. But special thanks to Todd and the panel, Jeff, Brandie, and Branden for taking their time to share their insights. And a special congratulations to Branden and Cinqugrani for the sales manager position. We are in search of a few more sales managers. We'd like at least one or two in each office to help with the support and the new agents coming out of the school. So if you haven't talked to Chris Bishop yet and you have some interest in some management or possibly just trying on management, see how it fits, reach out to Chris Bishop and he'd be happy to do that. I did see some comments in here. I think Rosemary asked about coaching. And we do have a coaching program. We do have a mentorship or apprenticeship program. But if you're interested in that, reach out to me and I'll discuss the particulars of that and how that all works. We'd love to get you in the coaching program and continue to expand that. One other thing, with this software, we were able to remote in. As you can see, they were all in their offices. We use Skype to do that. And so we remoted them in, but what I want to do is I want to try something on Saturday. I want to actually do some remote virtual open houses to create like a virtual open house show where we'll moderate it from the Southwest office in the studio and then throw it out to you guys in your houses and stuff. So if you're interested in maybe holding a virtual open house with us on a live show or live broadcast Saturday, reach out to me as well. I'd love to talk to you about the possibilities of doing that and see if we can put together a good show and just kind of change the way properties are being viewed out there. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. Very excited about this week coming up. Lots of trainings, lots of things coming online. And so if you need anything, like Todd said, feel free to reach out. Take care.